Colonel Sodhi, defense expert, is also with us on the program. Major Mohommed Ali Shah, defense expert, also joining us on the program. While Ali, the prospect of nuclear radiation, the prospect of something like this spiraling out of control is obviously going to be considered Russia's problem and Russia's fault. For whatever reasons Russia is in Ukraine, all of that will be eclipsed if people lose their life because of the nuclear radiation plant.
Absolutely, Vineet. Though it was bad, it was terrible. It could have been worse, actually. That's the way I see it as. What happened in Kremnoble? Kremnoble, people are paying for it even till today. What happened in Hiroshima, Nagasaki in 1945? People are still paying for it even now. So okay, I'll give you a small example again. Bhopal gas tragedy. People are still finding the effects of people being born over there. So certainly, it could have been worse in the sense that even the Ukraine mayor has said that it could have been 10 times more. Zelensky said it could have been 10 times worse than Kremnoble. But then at the end of the day, I would still say, see, a nuclear plant again is very well protected. It is not, and at the same time, have you seen fire hazard, fire safety? I'm quoting it with an example over here. So it is, people have to be very careful. But these kind of radiations emitted from here, it could have been a disaster, a real disaster. Well, it is not up to the extent that people were talking about, and I'm glad that your channel is reporting in a very mature, balanced way that yes, okay, it could have been a disaster. Well, what has happened is bad, no doubt, and yes, Russia is going to pay for it. The whole world community, as it is, people who had sympathy for Russia, the sympathies died down when Russia actually attacked Ukraine on 24th February. And but Russia has played in a very smart way, actually, if you come to think of it. See, the UNO Article 7 says if any country wants to become independent, they have full right to do that. They have the full right over their sovereignty and integrity. For example, again, if Balochistan decides that I want to be a separate country and they ask us for a separate help, India can send military measures and take military action against Pakistan, and that will be covered by UNO. It's well within the right. Now, and that would not be termed as a war. It would be a military operation, say a peacekeeping force. So similarly, on 21st February, when President Putin actually declared 2 areas of Donbas areas as independent, those people asked for military support to Russia, and then Russia went in. So he has played it very smartly. He's played his cards very smartly, but at the same time, he tried placing his cards very smartly, no doubt. But I feel he has right now laid all his cards on the table. There is no fear. There is no threat perception. We all know. Everyone knows what Russia... It's like, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या कर लोगे? ये कर लोगे? ठीक है, कर लो. हम दिखा देंगे उसका. हमें मालूम पड़ गया. आप क्या करने वाले हो? So people have... It's kind of becoming a bit predictable. On the other hand, I will take you to about Ukraine. See, one principal thing of fighting is the element of surprise. That is in any fighting, an ambush. When you are ambushing a counterparty, the party should not know that what your plan is next, what your next move is going to be next. But here the element of surprise with Ukraine, no one expected Ukraine to put up that fight. And I was against the fact that, their president is giving out weapons to civilians. But let me tell you, I salute the spirit of nationalism and patriotism of the Ukrainians who have actually put up a tough fight at the end of the day. So it is like, but the world sentiments are all going to be anti-Russian. But
now, Ali, we are also learning at this point in time that in defending their motherland and defending their country, the Ukrainians have lost a number of people so far. Colonel Sodhi, Putin, do you think at any level, did he miscalculate, did he miscalibrate this entire operation?
Well, definitely, in spite of President Putin planning this operation since 2014 rather, after he annexed Crimea, I think, somewhere his plans are not working exactly to the T like he had envisaged. And this can be seen by, the resistance which now the Ukrainian army and the Ukrainian citizens are putting up against the Russian forces. That would definitely, would have never been imagined by Putin. But now it is happening because ultimately, for whatever be the reason of Russia going to war, Russia is an aggressor. And, being an army man, I can tell you that war is never an option for anyone. Will only 2 people suffer. the armed forces personnel and the common citizens. So now that the common citizen of Ukraine has picked up the arms, and because Zelensky has, issued 50,000 weapons to everyone, he's released hardcore criminals. Now that is all debatable, whether this was a right move or not. But the fact is, as of now, yes, it has slowed down the Russian advance. Definitely, Russia will take over Kyiv. There's no doubt. Their final aim is to take over Kyiv. And as per the secret documents which have been recovered by the Ukrainians from few Russian soldiers who were killed and caught alive, I mean the documents clearly say that it was a 15-day plan made by Russia to take over Ukraine. So I think we still have few more days left before that 15 days period expires, which was given in the secret plans of the Russian army. But definitely, Russia has to take over Ukraine. But yes, it is not going exactly as per the plan what Putin envisaged. He thought there will be little or no resistance. Vineet, I would like to tell you that when an army builds up, there are enough warning signs. Now, when Russia was amassing its troops on the Ukrainian border, the Ukrainians either purposefully ignored it, or the Americans and the NATO forces did not, give them the real intelligence. And Russia also became overconfident. There is just no reaction from the Ukrainian army, so we'll have a cakewalk. Well, it has definitely not turned out to be a cakewalk. There have been more casualties of the Russians than they probably even envisaged. 2 days back they lost a major general. I mean, losing a major general is a very, very big thing, because such senior rank officers are never in the forefront because of their location of their tactical headquarters. They're always a little behind than the frontline troops. So the fact that a Russian major general has been killed, definitely, it is clear that Putin's plans are not going exactly to the T what he had envisaged.
Mohommed Ali Shah, apart from the rescue operations which India will continue to administer at this point in time, there is also a profound worry as to how far Vladimir Putin is ready to go in order to prove his point. And there is collateral damage also, Ali, and Russian forces are not known to be very sensitive, very, leaning towards collateral damage. They have been a little reckless in this approach as well.
Absolutely, Vineet. At the end of the day, be it a 6% kilometer stretch, or be it a 60, or be it a 6-inch stretch also for that matter, it's not worth going for war at all, as Colonel Sodhi, my instructor, rightly said. And that's what he taught us in academy as well. Yes, we are training you for war, we are training you for a situation worse than war, but we hope and pray that there is no war ever. That's what he used to always teach us in academy, and that teaching really stay with us. So yes, Vineet, when they actually go in for a war, Russia is going to lose at the end of the day, in the sense that they'll win the battles, they might win over Kyiv, they might win over, and if you see logically, again, as Colonel Sodhi said, one is they would take over Kyiv, and the other way also could be that maybe it's all intentional, that they do not really want to actually take over Kyiv. Maybe they might be having a separate plan in mind. Nobody knows what the war plan could be, because he would not, even if Colonel Sodhi is my commanding officer, and if I am as a young major on fighting on ground, I would not know what the plan of my commanding officer would be. I would just be obeying orders and leading my men, and obviously my men also would not be knowing what my plan is, because as a strategist, as a leader, we would have envisaged something in mind. So now when Russia comes in over there, nobody actually knows what's playing on his mind. It could also be that he is trying to get into the Navy and try to enter through Crimea, which is Navy, and from the Western Front, from that side, and take over the entire Europe. It can be any plan. It's so unpredictable, and no one can, in fact, really actually get into his mind. But going by his body language, one can read that he will be totally undeterred. He would not be. US has said right now, okay, we are willing to revoke the sanctions. We can take it back. It's all right. We'll open all the sanctions, provided you cease firing right now. But it seems to me that President Putin has really made up his mind with it, and so has President Zelensky. Both of them, now it's a clash of two egos.
Safety of other students, it's paramount to any military operation, because if that is not the case, then there is a possibility of, having a run-in with other countries you did not intend to.
I totally agree with you. Not only the safety of any student, I would say safety of any civilian too. Because as professional armies, we don't kill civilians. We, as professional armies, our job is to fight the other nations' professional armies, where the nations are going to war. So even in the counterinsurgency operations, we never kill a civilian. we only target those militants who have weapons with them and who are waging a war against the nation. So same is the case here. I definitely agree with you. And, we are seeing that the efforts of the Indian government are bearing fruits. Like, a humanitarian corridor has been created and 130 buses have been stationed by Russia to move our students back to India. And so much so that the Russian Air Force has said that they'll be sending in a plane carrying the Indian students back to India. I mean, that is really commendable on their part, because their nation is at war and yet they are sparing a Russian Air Force plane to fly our students. I think that's commendable. But yes, I totally agree with you that in this war between Ukraine and Russia, both the parties need to be very sensitive that they should not hurt any person of any other nationality, because then unwittingly those other nations will have to jump in. As of now, most of the nations have stayed away, but in case they start losing more and more citizens of their own countries, the public sentiment will definitely increase, because a large disaster no country can take, a large loss of human life no country can take. So it is very imperative on Russia and Ukraine right now to understand that in their war, no person of any other country should get hurt. They should have a unilateral, they should have a bilateral ceasefire for maybe 1 day or 2 days, and give that time for all the civilians or the persons of the other countries to leave those hotspots.
Mohommed Ali Shah, always a very morbid but yet a factual fallout of any war is that innocent people, for no fault of theirs, get caught up in crossfires, cross bullets in this case, and end up being exploited. Whereas the oligarchs, whereas the dictators and the rulers of those nations enjoy the cushion of watching all of this unfold from afar.
Absolutely, Vineet. It's as Colonel Sodhi rightly said, that no professional army would want to hurt any civilian. And here we are seeing that people, they are taking the philosophy of all is fair in love and war. I disagree with that somehow. I think that okay, they will leave no stone unturned to defend. The armed forces, they are known as the country's defense. Like if I know martial arts, it's there to defend myself, not to attack, not to be an aggressor. But the moment I use my skill of martial arts to attack somebody, that would be wrong. I can tell them, listen, I know my martial arts, I'm black belt, I'm blue belt, I'm this belt, that belt, alright, don't mess with me, don't come near me. But the moment I use my skill, my learning, which I took a pledge, which I took an oath to defend my motherland, and I become an aggressor, everyone loses their sympathy firstly, and secondly, the civilians, what wrong have they done? When they are talking with pride, oh, we have killed so many, it's nothing to be proud about. That means that they have made so many widows, they have made so many children orphans, they have made so many sisters lose their brothers, so many people are losing their lives, and who is benefiting? I mean, I don't know, and this kind of a thing must be stopped. The only way is to pray now, to pray that these two leaders, so-called the leadership that they are displaying, oh my goodness, that some sense prevails into both of them, because you clap with both hands. So now, yes, President Zelensky is saying that we are willing to talk, and please, you do not bite, come and talk to us. And he also is saying that we will go into an attack mode now, an offensive mode now, because an offense is the best defense. You take, for example, a game of football, so that everyone plays football, everyone will be able to understand that. A person who's not a military strategist also. So when you're playing football, what happens? You want to defend, there is a back, there's a goalkeeper, you will keep on going, taking the ball to the other post, right? Similarly, so now President Zelensky is trying to actually come ahead and see, now we will play offensive, let's see, and he knows.
Okay, all right.